Hello, everyone. Here's your weather hazard briefing for Thursday, July 22nd. One more day with showers and thunderstorms here in central and eastern Idaho. We do see a little uptick in moisture today, so a few storms still could produce some localized heavy rain, maybe a bit of a localized threat for flash flooding or debris flows, but nothing widespread expected at this point. Because we have a couple things different things going on today. Farther to the north and west, we have critical fire conditions because it's mainly dry air and some gusty winds moving in today. As you move eastward, the threat of thunderstorms picks up, and that's why we have a red flag warning in outside of the central mountains for some scattered thunderstorm activity today, just similar to what we've seen the past couple of days. Now, after today, we have the flow setting up to where it's going to be warmer and dry, and that will continue into early next week before the pattern returns to basically what we've seen the past couple of days across our area. Lightning strikes yesterday, quite a few in the central mountains on up into southwest Montana. Also some lightning strikes coming out of the South Hills across the lower Snake Plain, and we did see a few new fire starts with that activity. So even though we've had some humidity around, fire starts are certainly going to be an issue again today in the right conditions. You can see on the satellite we do have some monsoon moisture working into eastern Idaho already this morning. We've had some light showers and a few thunderstorms this morning. As we go through the day, we're expecting for thunderstorms to develop where we get some clearing, especially along the western edge here of our cloud cover. And you do also see some breaks in the clouds moving in from the south. That's the expected potential for increased lightning later on for today. Our weather and impacts matrix, you can see where we do have a red flag warning in effect for the South Hills, the southeast and eastern highlands, also into the central mountains. There will be a few thunderstorms possible across the Snake Plain today with some localized heavy rainfall. Otherwise, into the Magic Valley and into the other portions of the central mountains, we've talked about those breezy and dry conditions, not quite hitting red flag criteria. Now, tomorrow it will be dry and it will be breezy. We'll have to monitor the trends in the winds to see if we need any more red flag warnings for tomorrow. And maybe again on Saturday across portions of the Snake Plain in Magic Valley into the South Hills. Otherwise, it's going to be hot and dry. The winds will be less, but it's going to remain hot. It's actually going to be warming up just a bit. And, of course, quite a bit of dry air moving into our area with this pattern setting up as we head into the early part of next week. So first we'll take a look at our smoke forecast, and you'll notice quite a bit of smoke from fires to our south and to the west. This really doesn't show very well a few of the fires that we've had develop across our area, but there will be plenty of smoke in the next 24 to 48 hours. And as we go through the day, the smoke from our southwest will start moving in farther east as that flow starts to turn more westerly versus southwesterly. And this trend will continue into tomorrow, so plenty of smoke moving into the area. This does not obviously take into account any new fire starts. This is just from fires that are being already modeled here by the smoke forecast. And we'll watch that continue all the way into tomorrow with that westerly flow. Any surges of smoke will come in from Oregon, portions of California, and Nevada, and of course anything that does develop in our area. Now, looking at the thunderstorm forecast, the shower and thunderstorm forecast for today, our band is over us this morning. Most of the precip starts to move off to the east. There'll be some lingering showers and maybe a lightning strike or two before we get into this afternoon. And right now, kind of looking at it this way, we do have our thunderstorms over around Gilmore Summit up towards Mackey, on along the Montana border towards West Yellowstone and Island Park, and also down into the South Hills and eventually along the benches here and across the lower Snake Plain in the southeastern highlands. The most likely scenario for seeing increased thunderstorm coverage, more confident anyway, and that is going to be down across the South Hills and also up around Gilmore Summit over towards Oneida Pass. That's on that western side of where the cloud cover is today. As we get more breaks, we're anticipating more showers and thunderstorms to develop into the evening. Now, if we have that cloud cover sticking around a little bit longer, a little bit thicker, thunderstorm coverage may not be as much, but there's still the potential for some decent rainfall across the area, even if we don't get a lot of lightning this afternoon. As we go in this evening, we still see a few lingering showers into the evening hours, and we go into the overnight hours, there might be a shower down around Bear Lake, but we should, again, be pretty much dry by the time sunrise comes for tomorrow morning. Now, we've talked about the wind and other things across our area and those precipitation amounts. Pretty light this morning. This afternoon, most areas seeing under 1/10 of an inch. Now, we get some heavier storms going, or if we get several storms moving over the same area, easily could see a 1/4 inch or more with that, and that could also, in the right conditions, produce a little bit of localized flooding. If it's on an old burn scar or current fire, we could see a little bit of a debris flow developing in that area. But again, it's isolated, it's not widespread, just something to think about. As we go into this evening, still, most of the areas will see some light rain, so we'll call this a mix of wet and dry thunderstorms. A wet thunderstorm or wetting rain basically is anything over 1/10 of an inch. Now, for this afternoon, we talked about those winds in the central mountains gusting around 30 to potentially 40 miles an hour across the ridge tops. We'll see a pocket of very brief gusty winds over the upper Snake Plain over towards the Big Holes in the Teton Valley for this afternoon. In this evening, those winds pretty much holding across the Snake Plain, also up into the central mountains, but once we get to sunset, those winds really start to die down. And temperature-wise today, not too bad. We continue to see many areas in the 80s to low to mid-90s, and it's only going to start warming up from there as we get drier conditions moving into our area. We talked about the wind for tomorrow. It's portions of the central mountains over towards the Big Holes, the Teton Valley, up in the Island Park and Centennials, and across the Arco Desert tomorrow afternoon, some gusts 25 to 35 miles per hour. And we'll see those winds lingering at least a little bit before sunset. We might see a brief surge of gusty winds over 30 miles an hour across portions of the Snake Plain, but most likely hanging in the higher elevations of the central mountains over into the Centennials into the Island Park area. Tomorrow afternoon, temperature-wise, not much different than for today, but as you notice, we go into the weekend, the early part of next week. Here we are by Monday, some places pushing back again towards 100 degrees. That dry air in place, that means we're going to be pushing back towards maybe some potential heat risk issues. Also, any of that moisture that we've had across the area from any recent rainfall is going to quickly dry out, and again, fire conditions are probably going to ramp up across the region. Like we said, one more day of showers and thunderstorms. We do have red flag warnings in the central mountains for winds and low humidity. There will be a few thunderstorms up in the Lemhi County area. And elsewhere, especially across the southern and eastern highlands, the red flag warning in effect today for thunderstorm coverage and lightning and gusty winds with those thunderstorms. And then we see a trend of warm and drier weather headed our direction. Have a great day out there, and do stay safe, everyone.